So here in sunny Barcelona with Tobias, the current owner of Pro Direct Soccer Academy in transition to Learn, Play, Achieve Academy. That's right, Dal?
Yeah.
How you doing, mate? All right?
Yeah, not too bad. Obviously nice to be out here, get away from the weather. It's not going to be a great week back in England, so got the boys coming out here for a football tournament, so really good.
Brilliant. We'll touch on that in a second. Just before I forget, also newly appointed Whitehawk under-18s coach as well.
Yeah.
Can you just give us an idea of how that came about?
Basically, I got a phone call, sort of from Jude, sort of saying that he was looking to sort of step down as the under-18s manager, and was looking for someone to take it on. We had a chat about sort of what my thoughts were about youth development. I think they're very, very similar to the work that Jude's already done there. I mean, he's done a fantastic job with that group of players over the last few years he's been there. So hopefully it will be a seamless transition with the same sort of model, and now Jude being the first team manager, hopefully some of these boys will have a real progression into a good level of football within Sussex.
What's your thoughts on Jude getting the job? Obviously big news within the Sussex footballing community. For me, a great opportunity, and it gives a lot of positive, it's really positive that they're giving faith to young coaches. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's excellent appointment. Obviously it's going to be tough, but I think he's aware of that, and but for us coaches, younger coaches, and working our way through the pyramid, I think it's massive that people are giving them opportunities. If young coaches can get opportunities in these type of jobs, hopefully they can show what they do. You see it even in the Premier League now, that clubs are starting to look at younger managers, younger coaches, in their setup. So hopefully, if he can do a good job there, it could be a trailblazer for other young coaches, and to make that step up.
Of course, I think it's a good time to be a young football coach in Sussex at the moment. Just touching again also on the transition from Pro Direct Soccer Academy to Learn, Play, Achieve. Can you give us, anyone watching this, an idea of what happened there and why the transitions happened?
Yeah, so basically I used to run a Curver coaching licence in Sussex. I've been running my football coaching business for about 15 years now. 8 of that was with Curver coaching. Ran the licence down in the southeast. It was an excellent programme. A lot of the technical aspects of that programme we still use in the current programme, but they were going in a different direction. They were looking to put licence fees up and things like that, which I didn't agree with.
What year was that, sorry, Dan?
It was about sort of 7 years ago.
Okay.
And then just had the opportunity, by chance, was doing some work out at Real Madrid's academy, had a few contacts out there, met some people, realised that Pro Direct were looking to try and set up a soccer academy, so got a meeting with them, and then there was about 6 current sort of Curver licensee holders that came with me. We set up the Pro Direct Soccer Academy, which
what year was that? That was 7 years ago.
It was about 7 years ago. So I think it was 2011 we started that.
So just to stop you there, what was it like bringing your own academy back then? What was it like starting your own academy? Because nowadays every club has an academy, and they seem to be becoming more popular and popular. Were you one of the first guys to do it at that time?
There wasn't many independents out there. Obviously you had Brighton in the community, them doing their bits, and there was a few other sort of little independents. But the reason why I did it was because the technical aspect of the game is really, really important for me.
Yeah.
For players to go all the way to the highest level or play good football, it needs the right programme. One of the things that I saw sort of big good example was tennis. I used to go and play tennis with a 60-year-old guy down the courts, and he used to run me ragged.
Right.
And I'd be like, it'd be a nightmare, and I'd be like, how are you so good? And he'd just say, I went through a proper technical coaching programme when I was learning tennis. And I thought, you know what, I think there's something in that with football. So I was looking around, stumbled across Curver. It's a Dutch teaching method, showing kids technical skills to help improve them as an individual, and I just liked the methodology behind it, so I started working using that programme, found the benefits to kids, at all different levels, from kids that couldn't really kick a football all the way up to sort of elite players.
Yeah.
You could see the benefits of that type of programme, and so I started using it more and more, and the results were just brilliant. We've had, I think in the 15 years I've been doing it, I think we've had over 100 kids go into professional academies.
Unbelievable.
But also not just those kids that have gone into professional academies, it's the kids that maybe have never played grassroots football. We've got a lot of kids never played grassroots football, can't get in a team. They come to us, they work with us and our coaches using this methodology, and then the next year you hear, oh yeah, he's now in a grassroots team, and then the year after you hear, oh, he's got most improved player. Then the following season he's got like players player, you know, and you see that transition with those players. I mean, that's equally as rewarding for me as a coach to those boys that have gone into, you know, Brighton. I mean, we've had some, you know, people like Will Collar, James Tilley, Max Sanders, who have come through that coaching programme, and I think if you look at those players, I think they hold all the attributes of those technical programme that we run.
I completely agree with you. Like them names you just listed there, doing very well in Sussex football, and like you say, are technical players, and it must have come from somewhere. And after you explaining that, we all know where it's come from. You know, you having a real hands-on approach with these guys over a number of years.
I mean, the cup final this year, the under-18s one between Lewis and Whitehawk. I mean, for me, that was a really proud moment for me, because out of the 22 players that were starting, 14 of them had come through our system.
It's different class.
So, you know, for me, that was a great testament to what we do. And it's not just me. I mean, we've got really good coaches in DJ and Dale, in the younger guys, Josh and Z, who are working with us. And the benefit is we write the programme. I write the coaching programme, so that we have a technical programme. We have an elite training programme for our elite squads. You know, our pathway is that we've got kids that come into us, do after schools programmes, development classes, and then they feed into what our academy structure, which is kids in grassroots teams looking to do a little bit of extra training, and then again that feeds into our development squads, and then the pinnacle is our elite squads, and those boys get to go and play in sort of showcase games against other academies, and with that pathway it's always giving the kids somewhere to go. And then you finish with a tournament coming out to Barcelona for these kids to get experiences coming out to places like this. It's fantastic.
Brilliant. I mean, the pathway is very clear and it's proven. That's the main thing. You've got proven success within that pathway. Is this something that you'd like to see other clubs implement? You know, are there flaws in certain programmes, without nitpicking, pointing fingers at certain programmes? Are there ways that other people operate that you don't think work so much? And
I think there's lots of really good academies out there. I'm not going to sit here and slate other academies.
No.
You know, and I've got lots of friends who run those other academies, and they're doing an equally good a job as me.
Yeah.
You know, they've got kids in their programme, and maybe their philosophy or what they're trying to do is slightly different to ours. So maybe the programme that we have maybe works alongside those other academies.
Sure.
You know, same with the kids that play grassroots football. You know, we're not looking to take kids away from their grassroots teams. We're trying to say to coaches and reach out to those coaches and say, look, if you come and look at our programme and what we're doing, you'll recognise that we're there to improve the individual. You know, through our pathway of player development, through ball appreciation skills, into 1v1 skills, change the direction skills to be at a player's stop-starts, into receiving and passing, into speed with and without the ball, finishing and match play. Over a 12-week period, we use different elements of that pathway and that programme to hopefully put together a 12-week programme that then becomes a 36-week programme over the year, that then becomes, you know, a programme that lasts about 3 years, and then probably go back to the start with it. You know, and we'll run the same programme, we'll run the same session for an 8-year-old as we would do a 16-year-old. But the content within that session, the technical detail and what we're asking the players to do, that'll be the difference.
So it's still fundamentals, but you're expecting the quality to obviously be a little bit higher, and you might change the drills slightly depending on the age group.
So it's pure technical that we're doing at that younger age, and then what we're trying to do is create the player. So if we can create the player, by the time they get to sort of 11, 12 years old, then we can start to introduce a little bit more sort of gameplay to that, and a little bit more sort of intensity. By the time they get to 12, sort of 13 years old, then you're starting to ramp it up with probably 50% technical, 50% sort of gameplay. Then sort of as they go older to 13 to 16, and I'd like to increase that to 18, but until we've had the opportunity to do the Whitehawk, it's been difficult to do that. But the 13 to 16, you're trying to get them then hopefully to the intensities higher, and then they're learning more about tactics, formations and other avenues, because, you know, that for me is, you can't have all of that if they can't control the ball, if they can't pass off both feet, if they can't do that. So for me, the progression is slightly different, whereas, you know, maybe other organisations and certainly maybe pro clubs, they have to have that intensity at a younger level, but if they've got the quality of player, then maybe they can do that. But I always say that technical quality will come out at some point on their journey, and, you know, why aren't we getting kids further into the pro game?
It's a massive question.
I mean, I looked the other day and I think Gareth Southgate had 52 players to pick an England squad for the World Cup.
Incredible.
You know, if you look at, so what's that, 20%, 25% of probably the players in the Premier League, maybe less. If you look in Germany, they'll be hitting targets around sort of the 70%.
Sure.
You know, that for me is massive.
Just touching on something different, very, very good points there, Darryl. Since being in Barcelona, I've noticed that you try and treat your players, you try and give them a professional environment, and that they've got to look after themselves, and you give them a sense of independence in everything they do, not just on the field, but off the field. Does that relate back to when you're at home as well? Are you building these players up on the field, but what are you doing to sculpture these players off the field as men, as respect and things?
Absolutely. I mean, it's so important for us. I mean, we have codes of conduct within there. You know, we try and create this family, as you probably see with the kids interacting in different age groups, parents from different age groups interacting. We're trying to create a family, a football family, where the kids can come into us, learn about their football, but also that they can, you know, learn as a person, grow as a person.
I think that's huge, and that's something that I've really noticed on this trip, is that, you know, the respect the kids have for you and your coaches is incredible. I mean,
it's really important to realise that, you know, a child is unique. You know, all kids learn in different ways. They grow in different ways, and so it's really important for us as coaches and a coaching organisation to make sure that we're there to help them all the way through their journey. I mean, you know, we expect the kids to come in, they shake hands with the coaches before sessions, you know, they'll shake hands with the coaches after the session, you know, talking to them about how we expect them to behave off the pitch. You know, I've played in plenty of football teams where I necessarily didn't play with my best buddy or someone I didn't necessarily really have a great affinity with, but I played in teams where as soon as we crossed the white line to go training or to play matches, that we were a family, that we would run through brick walls for one another. And so there's a little bit of that element as they get older to do that. The trips like this are massive for us because we can get the kids away from their parents, we can see what they're eating, we can see how they're behaving, and we can have an impact on that in terms of guiding them and having a little bit of self-discovery for them, not just on the pitch but also off the pitch, to say, look, where are you going, what do you want to do, what do you want to achieve. You know, if they want to go to an elite level, then these boys need to know that a lot of boys I meet at the youth level, you know, sort of 9s to 16s, they think they're fit but they're not fit enough. You know, they don't do enough exercise, you know, they don't eat the right things. But now more and more kids are trying to get that, and I think with our academy we've had boys that have been more conscious about that. You know, a great example for me was Finton Walsh.
Good player.
Someone that was in our elite squad, and then I think at 13 didn't get in the elite squad. And a lot of kids with that could have gone away and gone, oh, I'm just going to give up, I'm not going to go to Pro Direct anymore, you know. But he didn't. He worked hard, he looked after himself, he did everything, and the following season he got back in that elite squad, and, you know, over the next 2 years made himself, you know, one of the main players in that team. And that was great testament to him listening to what we said to him about what he needed to improve on. He took it on board and went and did it. You know, and you look at where he's done and what he's achieving now, and it's, you know, it's all down to him and the hard work he put in. But it was been great to, you know, give that guidance to him to say, look, if you do these things, you'll be a better player, and I think you can see that with him.
You go into the real fine details, like, for example, for anyone watching this morning, we went to breakfast, and before the boys actually tucked into the buffet, you sat them down and gave them almost a bit of not a lecture, but you gave them some really good information on what they should be doing to refuel their bodies for the tournament tomorrow. And they listened to you. They didn't go up there and just have all the bacon, sausages, eggs. You know, they listened to the information you gave them. Lots of hydration, all the right things they need to put in their bodies, and I saw it firsthand that they listened to you and they went and done it.
But they're I try and Q&A kids as much as possible. I think we forget kids are clever kids. You know, they're clever. You know, and a lot of the time by asking them questions and Q&A'ing them, you know, you can sort of sit them down and you go, okay, so what do you think we should be eating today?
They know.
You know, they'll answer the questions for each other, and then they'll help it, and then you know, then you can say, so you guys know what's good for you and what's not, and what's going to help you as an individual and what's going to help you as a team. So what are you going to do with that? If they go and abuse it, that's their choice as an individual. You can't do anything more than that. But hopefully what you've done by having that information and giving them that, they'll then take it as a group, as an individual, and they'll take it away and they'll do the right things from that.
So talking a little bit about what you've done, what's next for Tobias? The transition, we touched on it briefly at the beginning, is now going to learn, play, achieve.
Yeah.
Can you explain to us exactly what happened with that? You know, you were Pro Direct Soccer Academy, and from what date does that stop, and now?
Yeah, so the transition period is sort of now through to September, when we'll launch as LPA.
September, that is.
Yeah, September 2018, and we'll launch as LPA. And the reasons being simply that Pro Direct Academy wanted to go in a slightly different route to the route that I believe, and a few of the other guys that run licenses around the UK.
So it's not just yourselves that are separated?
No, it's others. You know, there was a difference of opinion on where we wanted to go. You know, they've made that decision. You know, makes no odds to my academy. You know, the people that come to my academy are still the same people. The coaches will be the same coaches. The program will still be the same, because I wrote the program with Paul Sears, and we put that together. So, you know, nothing's going to change in our approach. It's the same as when we went from Curva to Pro Direct to LPA. What it does mean for us is we're going to be in more control about what we want to do and where we want to go with it. And we've got some really good projects in the pipeline, things that we're really interested in. I mean, having the Whitehawk under-18s pathway for our kids in the academy to come into that, along with other kids. But the main thing is once you've had a program in place and you've had kids come through that program, the way that they are to coach is easier. If you get a kid from another club who's a good player, but maybe they don't have the same ideas, they don't have the same philosophy behind what they're trying to do. I'm not saying they're not good players, but for a proper program, you want to try and get those kids keep pushing, keep progressing, because we want them to progress to a high level. If it's a Whitehawk level, or if it's just like, you know, county league level, you know, we want to have that they go into those environments and they add something to it, and I think they do. I think, you know, that even around the county prem side, so at the moment, if you see players, you know, George McCarthy played at New Haven, Tom Cookland, you know, did really good jobs at those county prem clubs as young players. Technically, you know, you can see that they've got so much quality about them. And they're capable of doing that. You know, I like to think that that's because they've come through a system that when they go into these clubs and the coach is then giving them information, they're taking it on board and are able to implement it. And that might not be so easy with other players that maybe haven't come through a set coaching program. They might not have that. They might be a little bit of obstinance to doing what the coach is telling them because they think they know better. You know, whereas I say to all the players with us, your job is to go into any club, because managers will have different philosophies, different systems. This is why we try and implement different systems between the 13 to 16 age group. They'll play a 4-3-3, they'll play a 3-5-2, and they'll play a 4-4-1-1.
So they're prepared to go into any club and fit into any system.
Yeah, and they understand the roles and responsibilities, they understand patterns of play in that. And that's a lot of hard work to get those young players doing it. But hopefully by doing that, they go into those clubs, and when you've got a particular coach saying, look, we're going to play this style of football, this is how we're going to try and score our goals, they'll go, okay, we've touched on that, we've spoke about that at Pro Direct, and I can fit into that system. And ultimately they can fit into the system because they've got good technique. You know?
And that's the fundamental right there.
Absolutely.
So looking at it from an outsider, you have your LPA Academy, where you take kids from as early as, what age would you accept kids from?
We take them from 4 or 5 year olds.
And that's toddler stuff. Like
6, 7 year olds. We call it little ballers.
Yep.
So they're starting on their football journey. We're there to help them on that journey. So we've got indoor venues around Sussex that kids can come into,
Brilliant.
start their journey there. And then as they progress through, we try and progress them to our outdoor venues from sort of our talent ID group. So we identify kids at under 7s, under 8s to go into a talent ID group, ready for when, and they'll play games as well. And then as they go into under 9s, they'll feed into our elite squads and our development squads.
Okay, so then you take them all the way through the LPA Academy till 16, and then what's their pathway then? I guess Whitehawk under 18s, and you also are beginning a project at Shoreham College.
Shoreham Academy.
Shoreham Academy.
So Shoreham Academy, we're going to be rolling out a college program there. So for us that's massive, because I've had lots of opportunities to run these types of college programs before. But I feel personally, from my own point of view, because of the nature of what we do and how we want individuals to develop, we want to look for something that gives our players everything. So, for instance, at Shoreham Academy, kids can do BTECs, level 3 qualifications, A-levels, and they'll all do a football programme. And the college have worked really hard with us to help with the timetabling. So we'll allow all the students to come in together on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and then on Mondays and Fridays we can then split them in their A-level and level 3 groups, and we can then start working more on specifics where it might be individual technical work, position-specific work, gym programs. We're going to have a personal trainer. I believe that the program we'll have there will be second to none in the area, because we'll have a personal trainer working with the kids, doing their fitness every 6 weeks, putting their individual programs together. Obviously yourself, who's going to be coming along filming the games, helping the boys put CVs together for maybe future, going to America, things like that. We're obviously going to be working on the football side of it to say, where do you want to go? Can we pathway into Whitehawk under 18s, maybe into the first team? If it's not, linking, like we have got good links with the county prem clubs to feed players in there, and then hopefully at the end of that 2 years they'll have an exit pathway to either go to America, maybe come out to Spain, where we've got a link with a club out here in Almeneca, which my friend George runs. He runs the Malaga City Pro Season Programme. So the players can come out here and play all the under 19 La Liga teams. They played Real Madrid a couple of weeks back at Real Madrid's training ground. I mean, what an experience for those players. So there's pathways for those players. Also, if they may be looking at coaching pathways, they can come in and work with me there. We have a link already with Shoreham Academy, where we have players that come through their college system and then they become coaches with us, and I put them on a 2-year apprenticeship with me. So by the time they've done that 2 years, they're hopefully a level 2 qualified coach, and got all the coaching badges.
Do they need? Oh, you put them through their badges, or do you give them the experience?
Yeah, they'll do a level 1 coaching badge at the college.
Okay.
And then what we'll do is we'll develop that on their when they come out of that college with us, and they'll do a level 2.
Unreal.
And then obviously they're coaching kids every day, from after school clubs all the way through to assisting with our elite squads, and maybe in time as they progress with their coaching they'll then take on the development squads and the elite squad.
So just you are providing pathways for youngsters here. So you're essentially taking kids at 4 and giving them 14 years worth of coaching with the same coaches, hopefully, in the same environment, sticking to the same curva foundations, and at the end of it, at 18 years old, setting them up for life-changing opportunities, whether it's professional football in England, USA scholarships, or your programme that you're developing out in Spain. Is that right?
Yeah.
And also, if they don't want to keep playing, you're giving them the coaching opportunity there.
Well, yeah, but they can coach and be involved in football. So they might be a player at a county league club, maybe pick up a little bit of dollar there. They might be playing Ryman football, whatever level, and they can come and get involved in coaching. Coaching's quite good because for them it will release them around their football. So we can work coaching around what they need to do with their football. So hopefully it works for them.
Just with the coaching, one thing that I've asked quite a few of the guys that we've interviewed is, you go to these courses and you get your badges and your certificates. What do you think's more valuable? Getting them certificates, getting them badges, or actually just going out there and jumping straight in and coaching people, at all levels?
I think it's important to go do the badges. I think the FA have done a really, really good job over the last sort of 10 years for me in the way that they've recognised what they were maybe failing at, and made improvements, and I think you can see that in their coaching, the youth modules. I mean, their youth modules are now entwined with the level 1, level 2s and the level 3s, which is brilliant. So they've incorporated all that together. For me, my program's slightly different. Again, I go back to it, it's more of a European-based program, a Dutch teaching method of teaching kids technical skills and how that program works. So it's slightly different. I think we try and work with coaches, not just that work for me, but also for coaches that maybe work in grassroots level, who need a little bit of help, maybe don't know what to coach kids. I mean, I have a lot of dads kids will come to our session. So a lot of the dads that come along with their kids to our sessions, who are coaches, will make notes about the program and use that in their own sessions, and that's great for me because I can't go out and coach every kid. We can't coach every kid, but if we can get some of the coaches, dads who are running teams and help them and assist them with what we're trying to do, maybe it will help improve then the standard of player across the board.
Just touching briefly on parents, what are your thoughts as a coach, as a academy, as a company on coaching from the sidelines, parents getting involved on match day? Do you let them communicate with the players whilst they're playing, at half time, after the game? What's your thoughts at LPA?
If we have the kids, as soon as the kids come in at their meet time, they're with us.
Sure.
They stay with us, they're with us, and then once we've done our debrief after the game, then they go back to the parents. We are lucky, we've got some really good supportive parents who understand what we're about, and I think parents have to trust their coaches. They have to trust them to know that they're doing the right thing. If parents aren't happy with what I'm doing and they think that they can get it better elsewhere, or they feel they're getting a better service elsewhere, then they go and find that. Let them go and do that. But I think the parents see what we do and what we're trying to do, and I think that helps our coaches deliver our program, and the parents put the trust in us because they understand what we're trying to do. They see our end goal. I can't stand parents coaching from the sidelines, regardless of if you think that you're a better person. If you're a better person than the coach that's taking your group, go and set up a team and coach the kids.
John Meaney put a great example across the other day, is that you wouldn't go into the classroom at school and tell the teacher what to do, and I think that translates exactly to the field. When you're coaching, it's a classroom environment, you're educating them kids, and the parents shouldn't be involved in it.
But saying that, I do think that it's harder for teachers in schools now, because I do think there's more opinions out there that parents need to be more supportive of their kids, the coaches, and whether it's swimming, tennis, whatever. I went out to America once and I was blown away by the respect the parents give the coach.
So how can we change that attitude, that mentality? Is it ingrained, or is there rules and codes of conduct that we can implement into the game, or do you just think it's a British mentality?
I think it is a little bit of a British mentality, but I do also think that we can improve things. Maybe there should be courses for parents. Maybe the FA could put courses on for parents. Maybe they do that already. But I'm not aware of too many. But I do think that trying to educate parents, that's what we do at LPA. We have a meeting every year for all the parents, all the kids to come along. We set out what we're looking to do over the course of the year. We give them information about what we're about, what we're doing. So people get a real feel for what we're trying to do with their child from those younger ages all the way through. And I think if people come to us and see what we do, they tend to buy into what we're doing and stay with us for longer. So hopefully the parents that we're talking to hopefully go and implement that. But yeah, I think John picks on a good point that parents need to just trust the coaches, let them get on with it. But I do see that in the classroom, parents sort of going into schools and telling teachers how to do their jobs. And I think again, if you're not happy with your kid at school, if I wasn't happy with my kid's school and they weren't doing the right things, then I'd take them out and find somewhere else. Or you just say, well, I need to trust in them and let them get on and do it.
Brilliant, Dale. I don't want to keep you for too long on your summer holiday here in Barcelona. Good luck to yourself and all the teams at the Barcelona Football Festival this weekend, and I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Bye, mate.